Hey guys! Welcome to Couple. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. The United Nations Secretary General has condemned the suicide bombings of 3 churches in Indonesia's second-largest city of Surabaya. A spokesman for Secretary General Antonio Guterres issued a statement saying he was appalled at reports that children were used in Sunday's attacks. The statement issued Sunday offered condolences to the families of victims and said the UN stands by Indonesia's efforts to fight extremism and prevent terrorism. 2:18 a.m. Police say coordinated suicide bombings were carried out by members of the same family against 3 churches in Indonesia's second-largest city of Surabaya. At least 7 people died at the churches along with the 6 family members, the youngest of whom were girls aged 9 and 12. Another 41 people were injured. Indonesia's president condemned the attacks as barbaric. National Police Chief Tito Karnavian said the father detonated a car bomb, 2 sons aged 18 and 16 used a motorcycle for their attack, and the mother and her 2 daughters wore explosives. He said the family had returned to Indonesia from Syria, where until recently the Islamic State group controlled significant territory. 6:40 p.m. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for suicide bombings at 3 churches in Indonesia that killed at least 13 people and wounded dozens. The extremist group claimed Sunday's attacks in a statement carried by its EMAC news agency. The attacks in Surabaya, Indonesia's second-largest city, were among the worst ever carried out against the country's Christian minority. Police say the suicide bombers were members of one family, including young children and teens. 6:40 p.m. Pope Francis has prayed for victims of suicide bombing attacks on 3 churches in Indonesia. Francis on Sunday expressed his spiritual closeness to the Christian community in Indonesia, especially in Surabaya, where the attacks killed at least 11 people at 3 churches during services in the Muslim-majority nation. Francis asked faithful in St. Peter's Square to join him in prayers to the God of peace so that he will make these violent actions stop, and that in the hearts of all there will be room not for sentiments of hatred and violence but of reconciliation and brotherhood. The Pope has often drawn attention to minority Christian communities that have been targets of persecution or other violence. 5:40 p.m. Indonesia's national police chief says the suicide bombers who attacked 3 churches in the country's second-largest city were members of one family, including children and teens. At least 11 people died in the attacks in Surabaya on Sunday and more than 40 were injured. The national police chief, Tito Karnavian, said the family had been in Syria, where the Islamic State group until recently controlled a large swath of territory. He said the family's father exploded a car bomb, 2 sons aged 18 and 16 used a motorbike in their attack and the mother was with 2 children aged 12 and 9.